Phoenician pigeons. I couldn't help but notice that the pigeons over here look exactly the same as the pigeons back home. And I've never really thought, do all pigeons look the same? Who knows? Guess we haven't changed after all. Panorama.
I can't do them things, they're really hard.
For this reason, travelling back in time helps us to understand the emotions and reactions that death provokes in human beings. Before us, the island was inhabited by the Romans, before them the Punics, and before them the Phoenicians. The way they lived evolved over the years, and so did the way they faced death. Here, on this very spot, we will travel back in time to antiquity, because it all happened right here, at Push des Moines. Our island has always been a point of convergence. Since time immemorial, our destiny has been linked to very different lands and cultures by the sea. In the days of the Phoenicians, the sea was synonymous with travel, meeting, and the exchange of ideas and commodities. And an island like Ibiza was the perfect place to settle. This very spot was a crossroads where routes between the cities and ports of the entire Mediterranean basin converged. From Carthage came new inhabitants, and with them a new way of life. The population grew, and Ibiza became a great metropolis. Once merely a trading post, the island was now a production and export center as well. Small peasant settlements sprang up all across the island. Right here, on the ground beneath our feet, the necropolis began to grow and spread. Ibiza now had its own coinage, bearing the image of a god from which it took its name, Iboshin. The deity of Egyptian origin subsequently spread from Ibiza to most of the western Mediterranean. But where there are meetings, there is also conflict. With Rome came the new social and economic structure of the empire, and with the empire, economic growth. This was the Pax Augusta. With Rome came innovation, and what was once Iboshin became Ebusus, and the last echoes of the Punic civilization faded away. But then, as now, as always, empires tend to evolve and are eventually replaced by others. After the fall of Rome, Ibiza was subjugated, first by the Vandal kingdom of Carthage, and then by the Byzantine Empire. For centuries, life colonized every corner of Ibiza, but her sister, Death, confined herself to one specific place, to the place where we are right now, Puig des Molins. This ground bears the imprints of thousands of people who lived in the city of Ibiza and who yearned for life after death. Venetians, Punics, and Romans shared a concern that has always plagued human beings: how to cross the line that separates life from death. We know how they died from the material vestiges of funerary rites that have survived until today. Here on this very soil, there were cremations and burials, ceremonies and banquets, songs and laments. And all of this left its mark on the necropolis of Butch des Moines. The objects we see here are associated with the rites that were used to bid the dead farewell many centuries ago. They allow us to reconstruct the expressions of mourning and grief that accompanied death. We are alive and we are here. Let us now see what memories remain of those who died here.
Ouch, bang my head. I've just banged my head like 10 times. Good thing for these hard hats. So, I just want to show you quickly. I've already took a picture, but that's the goddess there that we will be discussing, along with many other things. Just got to say really quick as well, I've noticed when we're walking around on these lower levels that a lot of these tombs come in pairs. been looking around in some catacombs, and we're actually at the ancient cemetery, ancient necropolis. Now, I've been making some videos, taking some photographs, but I thought I'd just give a quick little video update of the location. That's the old Ibiza castle in the background. Enlightened Turtle merchandise, we made it all this way. I'll tell you what, it's a fascinating place. I've been here like what? I think this is the 6th time I've come to Ibiza, and never once have I looked for the history. Obviously we've only been on this journey for a couple of years really. Yeah, fascinating place. It states that some of the tombs here go back only to the 1st and 2nd century AD, while others go back as far back as the 4th and 5th century BC. Sorry, I'm just reading one of these boards here. I'll read it for you guys. The origin of the Archaeological Museum of Ibiza and Formentera, which is an island just off the coast there, goes back to 1907. So they've actually only been doing archaeology here for just over 100 years. When the state received the bequest from the Ebustian Archaeological Society of the collection gathered as a result of the excavations, the society had prompted in several sites on the island, including the necropolis of Puig de Molins, which is this necropolis where we are, the cemetery. The museum originally stood by the cathedral in Plaza de Catedral of Ibiza, which is, I don't know if you can see it, it's hard for me to see, but just in the background up there, that is the old castle, which I will be going over there shortly to take some photographs and stuff. At the highest point of the old city, Dalt Villa, which is obviously it will be the citadel inside the castle. As excavations in the necropolis continued, a new secondary museum was needed to house the large collection of archaeological objects, which we should be going to check out in a moment. Due to be built in the necropolis itself, on the lower side of the hill in Can Partit, which is this building down here. Blah blah blah. Construction was halted in 1935 due to the Spanish Civil War. So the Spanish had a civil war in 1935, just before the Second World War. Man, the timing of these things is incredible, isn't it? And you wonder why Spain was neutral in the Second World War. Maybe the job was done. The building of the monographic museum, Puig de Molins, was eventually inaugurated in 1968, which, as I say, is this building. The ancient Phoenicians followed a distinct settlement pattern throughout the Mediterranean. Habitable areas would typically be located by the shore at a secure spot, such as a peninsula or island near the coastline. In the particular case of the colony of Ibiza, Ebushim, up until the 7th century BC. So in the 7th century BC, you had the Phoenicians here. So if people are following, like say the whole expulsion out of Britain of the ancient Brits, I'd say this is around about the time that Brutus returned to Britain, and maybe not so much Brutus himself, but at least the colonies that left, and then you got subsequent migrating waves. And that's just all a bit more jargon. There's a little photograph here, if I can turn it down so you can see. So there's the necropolis where we are, and the Acropolis, which is the castle and stuff over there. And this is the port, and that's Acropolis, Necropolis, Necropolis, Acropolis. So let me turn this camera back on. Yeah, I mean, the fantastic place. I didn't realise there was so much history on the island until I started researching, thanks to, I say his name, seems like in every video of me, but Ross Broadstock, man, he peeled my eyes open to the lies that I always felt, but I never paid attention. I was too busy with my army career and partying every time I came abroad and things like that. As we get older, we get wiser, eh? But yeah, I'm going to sign off there. As you can see down there, whoa, excuse me, let me catch my breath. I just ran up here in this heat just because I forgot to take this shot. That is the area where they excavated, but you're not allowed over there. And to me, that looks like more than a tomb. Just wanted to capture that, and I'll give you a quick view while I'm up here. So that's the old building there, well, the second building. So there's the necropolis over there, as you can see, all this area here, which kind of reminds me of, you know, when you go to Israel, there's a Golgotha, I believe, Golden Heights, Golgotha, something like that, where they have like the Jewish cemeteries. Looks like a mountain of olives to me. Yeah, I just realised there's a better vantage point up. I'll make my way up to the top of the battlements now and see if we can get a better angle there. Okay, we've climbed a bit higher now. As you can see, that is the cemetery down there. When I was saying before about like a mountain of olives, it's a very similar looking place. Now, I'm not saying that's what it is, but as we've been going through some bits and bobs, I'm starting to hypothesize now. I couldn't say for certain right now, but it seems as though the Lost Tribes were part of this older movement, either into Britain or out of Britain, or Breton, Albion, goes by many names. But yeah, we'll be covering that and obviously so much more. But as you can see, this is, we're heading up towards the citadel now, of the Acropolis, of the castle, the Castilla. And I have to say, for starters, I don't know if you can see that pyramid behind me. There's a lot of symbolism knocking around. Unfortunately, I forgot to take pictures, and time's getting a bit pressed, so I don't know if I'm going to get to go around and take pictures of everywhere again. But this is one of the biggest castles I've ever seen, and I've been to a lot of medieval castles, to be fair. Cyprus, Malta, there's obviously like Carnarvon castles and all this kind of stuff, but this is absolutely massive. How many bricks would you say this castle's made out of, guys? 5,210 bricks. You heard it here first. So let's have a quick look off the ramparts here. So these are defensive battlements, obviously all along there, and inside we're going to go and check out the citadel. Let's go. So we're inside the citadel of the Castilla. Obviously, citadel being like the sanctuary, the holy of holies of a castle, really, where the king and the bishop or the priest, whoever had lived. And to be honest, it's quite impressive. Unfortunately, it's a Sunday and it seems like everywhere's closed. But if I just flip this round, take a look at this for symbolism. I can barely see my camera. There we go. I don't know if that's Masonic or not. Do these with music on, like some medieval music. Step there.
Everyone in the videos is all laughing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's a good idea to